Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we talk about all things Disney, but we're Epcot-centered.
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in our rankings and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when we would have loved all the things on our don't buy list.
This is episode 104, 7 Souvenirs You Should Buy and 3 You Shouldn't at Walt Disney World.
Or, don't buy? Yeah, we're looking at you, bubble ones.
So now, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast as we embark on our Epcotian Adventure.
We call it Epcot.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And this is episode 104. We're getting way up there now.
We're old.
And this is 7 things that we think that you should buy at Walt Disney World as souvenirs, pretty much as a Disney adult, I think, from that perspective.
Probably.
And we're going to mention, of course, a few that we think you shouldn't. But we'll see, because some of these maybe, if you have kids, you have to, but as an adult, we just hate them. Okay. Just saying.
But some of them are just for pure practicality reasons.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of the things as you get older as a Disney fan, you look more towards the practicality. What can I use when I buy something as opposed to, hey, look at that shiny bauble.
Now that's Rod talking. Because Rod is the one who, when we go to do Christmas lists, he's like, hey, let's get them a gas card. Because he knows that people need gas in their cars.
What they do. They need gas.
That is not a Christmas present.
But it takes gas to get to Walt Disney World. So, you know.
So I tend to skew a little more toward the shiny baubles.
Ooh, a sparkly. What? You're wearing a sparkly.
I like a more whimsical souvenir. But I do agree that if it's going to sit in a box or not be enjoyed past the day that you buy it, maybe it is not a souvenir that is worth your money.
Well, and let's talk about that, because as we were going through these lists, we each had our own, and we compared them to come up with the 7 and the 3. And there was not 100% consensus on some of this stuff. So we'll talk about that as well.
We will. And we do have some honorable mentions and a couple of things that we just are popular souvenirs that we want to talk about because maybe they did or did not make our list, and we want to share why. Now, of course, this is all extremely subjective. This is coming from our point of view, having been there a million times, having bought all the souvenirs.
Having worked in merchandise.
Yeah, and, you know, I was actually chatting with my friend Pete the other day, and he mentioned he hasn't been to Disney since the 80s. He's like, if I went, I wouldn't have a clue what to buy or what not to buy. And I was like, that's interesting, because I hadn't even thought of it from that perspective. What is worth your money to take home with you?
Well, and that's why we're doing this.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and we'll just, we have ranked these, so we'll go ahead and take a look from 7 to 1, in our opinion. What are the best ones to buy, and what are the best ones to buy, but not the best ones to buy? So, 7 to 1. Let's start with number 7. This was my idea. This was an umbrella. Now, Disney umbrellas come in all shapes and sizes, but what we're talking about are the little pop-up ones. It's gonna rain. You're gonna be at Disney World. The Disney Parks umbrella is very functional, very useful, and not that expensive. Now, you can, of course, buy one cheaper at Target or at the gas station at Disney World, but I like the ones that say Disney Parks all over them. That way, when you get home, you can go, hey, it's raining. Look, I went to Disney Parks. Not specific. I went to a non-specific Disney park.
And that is literally bringing a little bit of joy to a rainy day. So what's better than that? That is what a souvenir is for. Souvenir, if you don't know, is literally the French word for to remember. So this is, I know, right? So this is a way to remember your vacation. So, you know, just helping you out along the way.
Well, and ironically, when we were at Disneyland Paris, we had a problem finding umbrellas. And when we bought them, they were 26 euros each, and they were just the little pop-up ones that you buy for under 20 at Magic Kingdom Epcot. Anyway.
Yeah, we still bought 2, so.
Well, it was pouring down rain.
It was.
So, yeah, if you need them, umbrellas are a good Disney souvenir.
I enjoy an umbrella over a poncho any day. That's just me. All right, on to number 6. Number 6 is definitely my thing, not Rod's thing, so I'm going to cover this one. And I'm going to say a great souvenir to bring home is jewelry. Now, this can range from anything from costume jewelry that you get for, $15 to the very fancy and name brand charms. Pandora charms are everywhere. You can also buy real diamonds, real gold, real everything for thousands of dollars. So, and yes, that is shaped like Mickey or shaped like a castle. So it runs the gamut, and you can do anything that's within your budget, which is one of the reasons I love it. I wear my necklace that has just a pair of Mickey ears, mini ears on it, and I love it. I wear it every single day. It brings me such joy. It's a conversation starter. Other people who enjoy Disney automatically know that I do too. If people want to judge me, they have a reason right off the bat. So there's that too. You just never know. But it is a conversation starter. It's something that just brings joy to me. So I love to wear that on a daily basis and just have a little bit of Disney magic that I can carry with me. So jewelry is definitely yes on the souvenir list for me.
Number 5, this was kind of both of our ideas, and that's something that stands out from the park or the resort you're at: a magnet, a pin, something that's a small souvenir that you can bring back that is specific to someplace you went. Especially if you're going to that resort for the first time, and this is the first time you're staying there, get a resort magnet or get a resort pin that you can put up. Now, we don't pin trade, but we have a whole wall of pins right here that we started getting. We have things from the Walt Disney Family Museum in Marceline. We have the 4-pin set from Epcot that came out earlier this year.
For specifically for Festival of the Arts.
Right. And we have a pin from Walt's Restaurant at Disneyland Paris. So we collect them sparingly, and we don't trade them. We get them for special places that we've been for the first time or special events. Magnets are the same thing, but we're going to need a second refrigerator to put more magnets up at this point. But we have magnets from the resorts we've stayed at and from the parks we've been to internationally, things of that nature. So those are just really good ones. And if you're traveling, especially if you're on some flights like Allegiant or Sun Country, some of these ones that charge you for a lot for your baggage, maybe you're traveling with just a backpack. So something that you can pack into your luggage and not have to worry about shipping home.
I love that. We take that very seriously, because if you've listened to us for a while, you know that we love to do a weekend trip and just pack in a backpack. So this is a great souvenir for us personally, because we can do that. We don't have to ship it home. We don't have to plan out space for it. I can put it in my purse and we're done. So that is a great, great tip. Next on the list is something we both enjoy, and that is a great Disney shirt. Now, this could be any kind of apparel. They also sell shorts and sweatpants and Crocs and whatever appeals to you. We like the Disney shirts. I like a good Disney t-shirt, especially when I can find a V-neck. Love a V-neck. And Rod loves the polos.
Yeah, I've got polos galore. I wear them to work. I wear them out to just a nice event. And I like the ones that are just subtle. So they've got a subtle Mickey on it, or a small Spaceship Earth, or something for the resort that we're staying at. I have one from the Animal Kingdom Lodge, where we're going to be staying shortly. Yay!
Spoilers, that's
time.
coming up.
That's coming up. And for a few other resorts that I've stayed at. And I like having something, again, functional. And a polo is nice because it's a collared shirt.
Those are nice. They do have everything ranging from very subtle, like you were talking about, to in-your-face Mickey, and you can go the whole gamut again. So that is nice because there's something that appeals to everyone. If you're not into t-shirts or polos, they also have Spirit jerseys, which are extremely popular. I think they are adorable. Those are the big sweatshirts, like with the raglan cut sleeve and the seam through the middle. I think
writing all the way down the back.
Yes, the writing across the shoulders.
Those do stand out.
They're so cute. I wish they looked good on me. They make me look like a sack of flour. They are a terrible cut for me, but I absolutely think they are adorable. So if those are your thing, that is a great souvenir, especially if you live in a climate that has seasons. If you're local to Florida, I can't imagine ever buying a Spirit jersey.
Very good point.
But if you are somewhere like in the Midwest, like we are, doing something that you can pull out in the winter time that have a little Disney magic is always a bonus.
Yeah, zip-up sweatshirts are another good one to have if you're not from the South. Or even if you are from the South, you do have winter for, 3 or 4 days every year. So But a nice zip-up Walt Disney World Resort or park-specific sweatshirt, I think, is very nice as well. I have a couple of those.
I have several, and they also have ride-specific to a lot of those for the more popular attractions. So that's really fun as well. And just a little tip here, that is one of my go-tos. If I don't want to carry around an umbrella, I will wear a hoodie and just pull the hood up when it's raining, and it keeps me dry-ish if it's not an outright downpour.
It's a gully walker.
Yeah, then that's not going to help you. You're just going to get really wet. But if it's just sprinkling and you're just going to make the best of it, pulling out a hoodie or something, a zip up with a hood is the perfect way to go.
Number 3, housewares. This one seems pretty odd, but Disney actually sells a whole line of park and resort specific housewares. We like to collect the spatulas at World Showcase. Each of the countries has their own spatula. It's
Spatula City, we sell spatulas, and that's all.
kind of an odd thing, but they're not only functional, but they're magical.
They're so cute.
We recently got a monorail tongs. Now, those are not park specific, but we saw them at Disney World, found them later on Shop Disney. So that kind of thing that you can use around the house every day, it brings a little bit of the Disney parks magic home with you, and you can see it and use it every day. Plates are another great example of this. Mugs, of course. There are thousands of different coffee mugs at the Walt Disney World Resort, but there's a lot that are park-specific, resort-specific, ride-specific. Get one for the trip you're on that means something to you. You're staying at a new resort. It's a dated mug. It's something that is meaningful to you.
We actually just recently got a monorail mug, which sounds so weird, but it brings such joy. They're like kind of 3D, and they're wrapped around the mug, all the different colors of the monorails, and it says,
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
But it brings such joy. And they, of course, they have the Starbucks mugs from each park, each location. Parks around the world have those, so we collect those as well. And they don't only have them, but they update them frequently. So we have several iterations of the Magic Kingdom mug and several iterations of the Epcot mug.
Yeah, that's both nice and mean at the same time.
It's so mean, but we love it. We absolutely love it. So again, something that brings that daily joy is such a nice souvenir, something that you can use and just remember the good times that you had. Number 2, we're going to say is maybe my favorite on our list, and this is a dated ornament. We do celebrate Christmas. We love to decorate for Christmas, and having the Christmas tree to put up every year with all of the specific ornaments. We don't only do it from Disney parks, we also do it from other travels around the country, around the world. And putting up those memories every year is such a cool tradition, and specifically the dated ones, the ones that are either festival specific or park specific. You can, if you get a plain ornament, you can have it personalized with the year on it at the Christmas shop at Magic Kingdom or at the ornament shop, the Christmas shop at Disney Springs. We also have some plain ones that are just really, really pretty. Not plain. They're really pretty, but they're not dated. So if you see one that catches your eye that's not dated, that works too, of course. But to have something really specific to your trip and to be able to recall those memories each year it sounds cheesy, but it's truly a gift that keeps on giving.
One of my favorites we got last year at the Christmas store at Disney Springs, and it's a light-up Spaceship Earth. And I don't know why we'd never had it before.
That one may have to come out of the Christmas box and just live in our studio here.
It's pretty cool.
Because it's awesome. That was one, too, that we didn't know we needed until the lady behind the counter was like, hey, did you know this lights up? And she pulled it up and she lit it up, and we're like, and wrap that up for us.
Nice thing about some of those bigger ones, too, is you can have those shipped home. So all of the souvenirs we're talking about today, you can ask them to ship them home, so you don't have to worry about trying to get them back to the resort or just carrying them around all day. Ask at the merchandise location where you're purchasing them, as long as it's not perishable. So foods or non-packaged foods cannot be sent. But anything you buy at the Walt Disney World Resort can be shipped to your home.
And you can combine stuff from different stores. The only trick is you have to have the receipt. So if you bought something at Creations at Epcot and then you go back to your resort and you find stuff that you want to buy and suddenly you're like, okay, I either need to buy a new suitcase or we need to ship stuff home.
Which they do sell as well.
They do.
They're smart.
But sending stuff is going to be expensive. It's less than the cost of a new suitcase and the cost to ship another suitcase.
And it's reasonable, too. Within the U.S. or in the continental U.S., it's under $20 to ship most things home.
Most things.
Yeah. It depends on weight and size and fragility.
But be real careful with breakable stuff, trying to shove it in your suitcase. They do wrap the heck out of it. Like, they will wrap those things so well. But it would really be a bummer that you wanted to save $20 and get home and find that your $50 ornament is broken.
Yeah, very true.
So just weigh the consequences.
Number 1, and this is my favorite thing, this is event-specific merchandise. This started out as something different when I wrote it down. It was Epcot festival merchandise, but Sue pointed out that this could be for Boo to You or for the Christmas festivals. Anything that you're there for that has logo merchandise for all of the Epcot festivals, of course. But Boo to You is another great example. They have shirts and things that are only available during those events. If you can grab that merch, that, in my opinion, is the number 1 souvenir to get, because that's going to have the most meaning for you. Not only is it dated, but it's event specific.
Which is probably the reason why you booked your trip at the time that you did, was to go to the thing. So get a souvenir from the thing, whatever that thing is.
All right, well, let's talk about 3 things that we suggest you do not buy.
Now, this is kind of the downside of what we're doing. So let's just preface this by saying, if there is something that sparks your fancy and that you are just giddy about, you get that thing. It doesn't matter if anyone talks you out of it. It doesn't matter if anyone has advice on why you shouldn't get it. If that thing speaks to you, you get the thing. So I'm going to preface that by saying this, but these are the 3 things that we think you should save your money on.
And number 3, anything you can buy at Target or DisneyStore.com. Realistically, if you can buy a plate that just says Mickey Mouse or something on it, and it's available at Target for the same price that you can buy it at World of Disney, buy it at Target. You don't have to worry about trying to carry it around all day, ship it home, put it in the luggage. If you see it and you can find it on DisneyStore.com, is actually a great way to do this. Is if you're at WAD and you see something, look on DisneyStore.com really quick and see if you can find it. Order it on the fly right there and just have it shipped home.
We actually did the monorail mug I talked about and the monorail tongs that Rod talked about. Those are 2 things that were a great example because we did see those at World of Disney and we saw them at our resort. And then we were like, oh my gosh, I love this mug. We have to have this. Looked on DisneyStore.com. It was available. It was a free shipping event for Visa Disney card members. So we actually got it cheaper. We got it shipped to our home just like we would have had to do anyway. And we didn't have to take up luggage space. We didn't have to take up vacation money. Like, it was a good deal all around. Number 2 on our list, probably our most hated souvenir. And parents, I'm sorry because you've probably bought these for your kids, but bubble wands.
Nobody likes these things. Standing in a line, especially if I've got food and I'm walking through the park. I don't want it to taste like Mr. Bubble.
It's weird. It's a weird thing that children love, of course, and if you want to get one for your own backyard, absolutely. Keep it in the bag. But to have kids in strollers being pushed through the park, bubbles flying everywhere, I know they think it's magical. Little kids love this. I probably would have as a little kid as well. But as a grown-up, like Rod said, you don't want to be eating bubbles. You don't want to be tasting bubbles. You don't want to be breathing bubbles.
My bubbles.
He likes bubbles.
It is not magical. It is annoying. I can't imagine it's sanitary. I don't know.
Well, and so many parents that buy these for their kids, like you said, think it's magical. Everybody loves bubbles. All right, you stand there. I'll blow bubbles in your face. I'm not your kid. Is that fun? No, it's not. So,
no.
Please stop with the bubble wand. But, yeah.
Are we just old?
It's starting to sound like get off my lawn is
right?
about to come out of my mouth here. But please, no more bubbles. And the number 1 thing, balloons. I'm guilty of this. As a kid, I used to love getting balloons.
I did too.
At Disneyland and at Magic Kingdom. Even when we were there the first time, I got a balloon. but you cannot fly them home. We actually got on a flight one time and watched somebody with a balloon get on board the plane. How they got there, I have no idea. But they're like, you can't do that. You have to deflate it. It's hard to reflate. Reflate? Put air back into, because once you make a hole in them, they're good luck. And just environmentally, they're just not great. You can't even buy them at Disney's Animal Kingdom because they're bad for the animals. So, my opinion, save your $20. They look pretty. Forget the balloons.
If you're at Magic Kingdom and you want a balloon photo, they do have one of the magic photos. What do they call it?
Magic shot.
Magic shot, thank you. PhotoPass Magic Shot. They do have one of those where the whole thing of balloons is carrying you away. Very cute. Great family photo. You could do those with virtual balloons in that way. If you need a balloon to identify your stroller while you're there, great. Absolutely. Go ahead. But just know that you're not going to be able to take it home, and that's an expensive souvenir that you're not even going to get to remember later. It's not a souvenir, it's a placeholder.
Yeah, they're not 50 cents anymore. They literally are like $20 for the big Mylar ones with the lights in them. And
I don't think they have any other kinds anymore. They don't have the simple Mickey balloon like they used to when we were kids.
I haven't even noticed.
Balloon within a balloon, and the balloon does things, and it's... Anyway, it is an iconic thing that a lot of people spend money on, and I can't help but think that they regret it later.
Speaking of iconic things, we didn't mention some of the more iconic souvenirs. Let's talk about some honorable mentions that we both kind of came up with here.
Yeah, things that didn't necessarily make one list or the other, but we definitely should talk about. So, Rod, what is your first honorable mention?
Mine are the popcorn buckets. Now, these things are huge. They're hard to get home, but they're very limited, so they're only out for a short time. So if you're there and you see the Figment one, or you see the Death Star, and you're a big fan of those, grab them. Now, this is something that is hard to put into a suitcase, so be aware of that. That's why this didn't make the list for either yay or nay. I like it as an honorable mention because we have a few out in our display out here that mean something to us,
yes.
And we happened to have a suitcase at the time that fit them.
We specifically took suitcase with space in it so that we could bring one home, because we had the two that we own, we had in mind before we went, and I knew that I wanted to bring them home, so we went specifically for those.
Yeah, so it's a good honorable mention.
Now, if you live locally and you can bring them back again and again, absolutely collect the heck out of those things, and they're adorable. Number 2 on my list is probably the most iconic Disney souvenir, and that is the Mickey and Minnie ears. Now, this was on my original do-buy list, but it was on Rod's original do-not-buy list. So because it made both of our lists in both directions, we decided it was an honorable mention, and we should just sort of discuss.
They're iconic. You're not going to be able to go to Disney as a kid, especially for your first time, and not come out with ears. So, therefore, it's kind of a yes, buy it. But if you're in your 50s like I am, and you've got 30 pairs of them from when you were a kid, I can't see buying another one. But we know a lot of people that collect them. And
full disclaimer, Rod does not own 50 pairs of ears, so that is not
all right,
him.
2. It feels like 50.
I do love a good pair of ears. I will buy them when I find ones that I absolutely love. But for me, if they're not ones that I truly, truly cannot live without, I'll walk away. Now, one of the reasons is that they can be uncomfortable when you're wearing them all day long. They can start to pinch your head. Do try them on. Don't buy them online, I would recommend. Only because if you have 6 pairs that all look the same, that doesn't mean they're all going to fit the same. Ladies, it's like trying on jeans. You know what I'm talking about. So if you have a pair that you really, really like, absolutely, buy the ears, get the cute photos, change your profile picture so that you're wearing your cute ears. Wear them at Halloween, wear them to go to the grocery store for all I care. I don't care.
Well, that's the point, I think, on my side, is that they're not functional. You're not going to wear them outside of a Disney park.
You might not wear them outside of a Disney park.
Well, that's true.
But I think they're so iconic, and they have so many different styles. You can get individual princesses, you can get rides, you can get events. We can go back to the events thing. They have specific festival ears. So anyway, I think it's a yes. Rod thinks it's a no. So this is a very personal decision that you have to make between you and your ears. And let us know if you are pro or con for the iconic Mickey ears.
One of the things that Sue brought up that I hadn't even thought about was pens. This is a very simple thing that you can buy, and this kind of goes with the pins and the magnets we talked about.
Yes.
But pens are very functional. These are also great to grab for coworkers if you want to just bring them back and go, hey, thank you for working while I was out. Back in Tokyo Disneyland when we were there, there's whole displays of shareable chocolates and things. That's not really done as much in the U.S. I think little pens are actually a nice way to celebrate your trip, but it's also a good thing to maybe take back and share with some coworkers or some family members that help you out. Somebody watched your dog. Have a pen, you know.
Well, and they come in packs, usually of 5 or 6. And I use them every single day at work. And I write every single thing with a Mickey Mouse pen or a princess pen. It's all Disney based. And it brings me joy just to have those small little things that I can celebrate my Disney love. It's like a little tiny vacation within a work day.
Now, our last trip to Disneyland Paris, I brought back some shareable chocolates, like I was just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is also another thing that you can do for folks that didn't get to go. It's not really a souvenir, but it is something
you're not
you can
keeping
buy.
it.
Yeah. Well, you can still eat one yourself, I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, anything that's a shareable treat, I think, is a great thing to bring back for your coworkers. Again, not a souvenir because you're not keeping it, but a really nice thing to do.
We really fought on this next one because Sue's actually done this and I haven't. That is, I'm going to let you say it because this is yours.
This was on my list of souvenirs I do not regret. Rod added it to his list of souvenirs he would regret.
Yeah.
So it's very personal again. But for me, my lightsaber. I did Savi's workshop. It was such a phenomenal experience. And it's not even about having a lightsaber, even though I love my lightsaber. It's not practical. It's not usable. It sits on top of my piano, and I love that it's there. It's about the experience of building it in Savi's workshop and personalizing it and going through the entire show element was such a core memory for me. I was in tears just because of how sentimental it was for me to do that. And to have that really cool lightsaber as a souvenir remembering the workshop that's what it's all about for me. Like having that core memory instilled. That's what a good souvenir does for you. So there's a good lesson. If it doesn't do that for you, it's not worth your money. On the other side of that, they do also have a droid workshop where you can bring home a droid.
Yeah, a droid actually might be something a little more functional because you can play with it. Lightsabers, you just kind of go, right? Like with the droid, you can make it move around and do things, and they interact with other droids. But like the lightsaber, they're a pain in the tuchus to get home. So,
the lightsaber was fine to come home. Yeah. They have a specific area on the TSA website to tell you that lightsabers are okay to travel with.
And the planes will let you bring them on board with you.
If you've never looked that up, do, because it's actually kind of funny. But for me, the droids made my you might regret it list, as opposed to Rod was the opposite on this one. And that is only because you don't have that super cool show element of the workshop. You do assemble your own, you choose the elements, but there's not the full-on show involved.
The experience is really the lightsabers. Yes, that's true.
And the droids interact with each other, so unless you have more than one, you're not going to get the full experience of them at home. And unless you want to travel with it to the parks again and spend a bunch of time in Galaxy's Edge, you're not going to get the full experience out of that. So, I don't know. If you have a droid, if you've gone through that experience, let me know. Is this something that brings you joy on the regular, or is that something that you might wish you had saved money on? I'm curious. And the very last thing, and I'll talk about this one again because this was kind of my thing, was the new tiara experience that you can do on Main Street at Erebus Brothers in Magic Kingdom. It's an $89 experience, and you build your own tiara. And they are beautiful, and you can choose how the stones are laid out, and you can choose which stones go in which setting. And they are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it's a tiara! A tiara! I have a tiara! Put it on me, 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 put it on me. You look beautiful. Of course I do! I'm a princess, and this is my tiara!
But it's an $89 souvenir that when are you going to need a tiara?
And I actually think it's not that bad of a deal because this is something that you could not necessarily wear, but you could display.
Yeah, that is true. And that would be a really cool conversation starter in your home.
Yeah.
And it would be a really neat thing. Now, I think to make it worth a souvenir thing, right now they just have the layout and you step aside on the counter and you create it all by yourself and then they create it for you, the actual tiara for you. I think to make it worth it, they should go the route of like Savi's workshop, where you go through an experience with Fairy Godmother or with one of the princesses or something like that, so that it's a whole experience built around creating your crown. They tell you what each color stone means, and they tell you what you're choosing and whose tiara you're resembling. Like a whole experience built around it, I would be 100% in. So Disney, are you listening?
Yeah, come on, Disney. You do it for the other things. For Star Wars, do it for the princesses.
And this is for the grown-up princesses.
Yeah.
Like they have
yeah.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique for the kids. This is a grown-up experience. I mean, I guess a kid could do it as well. Of course, they're not going to turn away a child.
Not going to turn down money.
Right. But to make it an experience for grown women who want to wear a tiara.
And add it to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique would be a good add-on.
Yeah, like you could do that while the kids are getting their
Yeah.
stuff. That would be interesting.
Well, folks, that's 7 things that you should buy at Walt Disney World and 3 you shouldn't. Hey, let us know. Were we wrong? Did we have things that made your list? Did we miss some things? Let us know down in the comments. We'd love to know.
Did we stomp on your dreams?
Before we go, we'd like to give a big thank you to our theme music composer, Jason Patrick Rowan, whose music is licensed through Pond 5. And of course, thank you, Phoenicians.
Thank you, Phoenicians. And don't forget to rate, review, like, share, and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production and a proud gold member of D23. Thanks for joining us today for episode 104 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in line.
Bye.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Permanece Sentados for no, that's the Matterhorn.